Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Stoop, and we're now on session 3 in terms of our study, and we hope that it's been helpful so far. One of the interesting things that we discuss in the book is the effect of toxic shame on our lives. And there's a cycle of shame that is important to be able to understand, and because that's the means of breaking the cycle. And you're going to talk about the cycle.
Yes. Well, it's kind of predictable what we do when we're functioning with tremendous shame. Now, there are really only two reasons that we should be experiencing shame. Either we haven't stopped doing something that we ought to be shameful for. If we're still involved with some sin, well, then that shame can have a purpose. It can be turned into godly sorrow, where we're really sad that we're missing the mark for God, and it changes our behavior. So if you're experiencing that kind of shame, well, let's get on with changing. But a lot of times that's not where the shame is. The shame comes from somebody else. Maybe they have shamed us, or they have involved us in shameful behavior, and we have taken on their shame in that way. So what do? Well, it's a really tough cycle. The first thing that we do is that we feel different, or we feel inadequate. And in those feelings of difference and inadequacy, we hide from people. We cover up. We don't want to be known. And that begins our kind of defective way of going through life. And so then we kind of isolate ourselves from other folks, hoping that we won't be noticed. Some of us go to the extreme of even developing an invisibility where people don't even see us. Now, it's painful that they don't see us, but it's also comforting that no one calls attention to us. And then if we're isolated and detached and hiding, well, we're going to miss a lot of opportunities where we could learn and live and grow. And so that kind of fosters more of our inadequacy and our feelings of being defective. So we end up in adulthood lacking some skills that we would have had if we hadn't been hiding out, detaching, and isolating. And so without those skills, we're kind of clumsy in our lives, and we experience rejection. How many times have I heard from this person or that about something I did, and I wasn't even aware of it? I just didn't have that skill until later in life. So all of our experiences set us up to be rejected, and every time we feel rejected, guess what? We're right back there feeling different and inadequate and even more shame. And so then we're right back in the cycle, continuing to hide from other people. But it doesn't have to be that way.
Well, what keeps that going is the sense that it's a developmental process, that when we're a young child and something doesn't go right, we tend to split the world into dichotomies. We either I'm the all good person or I'm the all bad person, or mother or father or somebody, my caretaker is all bad. They did something bad in my mind. I make them all bad, but I can't tolerate their being all bad, so I start to blame myself. And that feeds right into the first and the last points of feeling different and hiding because it's my fault. And even as adults, we still think that anything that happens to us that's not healthy or productive is my fault. And I have this shame, this toxic shame over something that doesn't even exist because that cycle hooks you in and holds you, because developmentally you never broke free from that to realize, no, they were both good and bad, and I'm good and bad, and I have bad parts, but I have good parts. And the shame makes it so that it's all bad, and it keeps us locked into that cycle.
Well, all of this is extremely painful. And in that pain, we do all sorts of strange things. First, we deny that there's a problem, or we minimize that it's really that bad. Sometimes we comply with the very person that's causing the pain. And some people call that a trauma bond. We get traumatized, and then we adhere to the very person that's providing the pain for us. And we are truly trapped if no one comes along to point it out and show us the way out. We deceive ourselves, we placate, we become peace keepers rather than peace makers. We just try to get through life. And when you're trying to get through life, you don't really get much of life at all. And you wonder, what is this abundant life that other people are experiencing? And so in our desperation, sometimes we end up in a place called learned helplessness. You know, we are not helpless and we are not hopeless. And if that's where you find yourself in one area of your life or every area, we've got the path and the process to help you get out.